Now let's look at the structure and function of the posterior lobe of the pituitary, or the neurohypophysis. This lobe is an extension of the central nervous system, and it stores and releases secretory products from the hypothalamus. So neurosecretory neurons with their cell bodies in the hypothalamus, which would be up here, send their axons down the infundibulum into the pars nervosa. The pars nervosa itself is comprised of unmyelinated fibers, axon terminals, and glial cells called pituocytes, as well as, of course, the vasculature. Axon terminals here are dilated, and they store those secretory products that are made up in the hypothalamus, and those structures are called herring bodies. So here are two views of herring bodies, and you can see that they are very large structures embedded amongst all of this nervous tissue looking stroma here, and these are these glial cells called pituocytes here and here. And here's another stain where you can see how large those herring bodies are. There are two different hormones stored in herring bodies, either oxytocin or antidiuretic hormone, which is also called vasopressin. In this electron micrograph of herring bodies in the posterior lobe, you can see that these dilated portions are roughly oval or circular in shape, and they're just filled with numerous secretory vesicles. And these contain, again, either oxytocin or ADH. And you can also see the glial cells that surround them, the pituocytes. Note that there are vasculature, it's the capillary network that surrounds and ensheathes these herring bodies. And these are fenestrated capillaries that are lined by endothelial cells. So what are the functions of the posterior lobe hormones? Oxytocin stimulates contractile cells in the mammary glands to eject milk, and also stimulates smooth muscle contraction in the pregnant uterus. ADH, or vasopressin as it's often called, increases resorption of water in the collecting ducts of the kidney. It decreases the rate of perspiration in response to dehydration, and it increases blood pressure by stimulating contractions of smooth muscle cells in the arterioles. And the source of both of these hormones is, again, the cells of the hypothalamus, specifically in the supraoptic and paraventricular nuclei. So let's talk about pituocytes. What are they? These are specialized glial cells that are associated with the fenestrated capillaries. They often have processes that terminate in that perivascular space region. They are irregular in shape, and they have many cytoplasmic extensions, which more or less resembles astroglial cells in the rest of the brain. They possess specific intermediate filaments, GFAP, which is another similarity with the astroglial cells, and their supporting role is similar to that of astrocytes. So they are really the analogy to the astrocytes that you see in the rest of the CNS. Here's an actual light micrograph showing numerous pituocytes, and those are the small oblong nuclei with a little bit of cytoplasm around them and a lot of cytoplasmic extensions coming off of that area right around the nucleus. In this image, you can also see the vasculature. This is a capillary right in this area here. You can see RBCs within it and some endothelial cells lining it here and here. There's also various other cells near the vasculature. In this case, I believe this is a mast cell, which you can see near the vasculature because that is where they enter and exit. Occasionally, you might even see a macrophage in this area. And that's all we've got on the pituitary gland. We'll see you in lab.